much to talk about today. Oh my goodness, you guys. I'll be right back after the introduction. Hello, hello, hello. I am Dr. Sherry. Thank you so much, you guys, for joining us today. It is so much to talk about. The first thing I want to talk about is that Justice Anna Von Ritz has given another announcement. She always is giving announcements. You know, every week she drops. Excuse me, I got to make sure my plug is in my computer. Oh, we don't have a problem. But every week she writes all of these. Public notices and articles, what have you. She's written over 5,000 articles. Okay. So every week she drops a new article. Every week she is on YouTube at the American Assembly YouTube. And now she's doing information on, I think, Tuesdays or Wednesdays with the Ohio Assembly. And I try my best to keep up with her every time she drops something. So I want to give you guys an update on what's happening with the hurricanes from North Carolina, Tennessee, Florida, and even some parts of Georgia was damaged. Okay. First of all, what they're not reporting, there are over 250 million deaths. I'm going to say that count again. There has been over 250 million deaths from this hurricane. And what is happening is that, especially in North Carolina, literally small communities have been totally wiped out. And there's been a issue with um, some de facto, okay, not allowing supplies or what have you to come into these communities and into these places that need assistance, okay. And so what has happened is that the true American government has gone in, because you all know that now the military is actually on the land and soil at this point. And so the government, the true American government has gone in and has made it a way whereas supplies can get to these communities that have just been totally devastated. All right. As of right now, there is well, you definitely know there's some needs, but there's a list of needs that North Carolina has put out. And I'm going to share that. Ooh, where can I share so you guys can see it? So you guys know, go to my link bio, / I am Dr. Sherry. If you're in the school, I'm definitely going to post it in the school. And I'll try to post it on one of my social media platforms, possibly the Facebook or the Instagram. But they have actually sent out a list of needs. Remember now, these people have been totally devastated. People were literally in their homes while their homes were floating down the river. They were in the home. Okay. So you have to understand that there has been devastation to areas where there literally has never been any hurricanes ever, ever. Okay. So she begins to speak about, the needs of the areas, what is really happening on foot, what they really are seeing. So they are actually giving step-by-step plays of what's actually occurring on the land as we speak for the help that is trying to be given to these people. But when I heard her say 250 million people had lost their lives, that is an enormous number. Enormous. Okay. Um, FEMA is bringing in, they say, body bags by the droves at this point. Okay. So we need to come together and do what we can to assist those areas. So again, I will post that supply list. The next thing I wanted to talk about that keeps coming up over and over and over again is status correction. Many are still trying to wrap their mind around what status correction is. Why do I need it? So I actually posted a video of Justice Anna actually speaking about the whole fraud. Okay, it's on my also my YouTube. So just go. There's about a 7-minute video. So what I did was I took a cut out of a meeting that she gave, and like I said before, she has this information out there. But what I did was I tried to narrow it down so you all can hear for yourself everything she has to state about the fraud. She also gives an update about the bank. Okay, you all know that there's prosperity credit unions that are now popping up in different states. Okay, you all know that when your status is corrected, we do receive American Federation dollars. One American Federation dollar is 180. A dollar, one American Federation dollar equals 180 US dollars. Okay, so right now, Justice Anna has pretty much stepped in the gap for all of us as far as all of this debt is concerned. And so they're in the process as we speak of now converting all of that debt to be paid off, to be settled. Okay. So, but you have to be status corrected to be able to be in position to do that. Now, I know right now a lot of people are not running to get their status corrected because they're afraid. They don't understand it. But for those of us that understand what's going on, for those of us that we know what's going on, we are trying our best to encourage as many people as possible. Get your status corrected. Come back to the land and soil. Okay. It's a very short process. Okay. It's documents that have to be completed and have to be sent to different United States agencies, but it is well worth it. It is well worth it. We are literally experiencing a major movement, a major shift right now. Okay. And so I want to make sure that you understand what you need to do and get in place to do that. So if you see my link bio, once again, you can just click there. All of the information is there. If you want to go into the school has a plethora of information. Okay. If you just need to contact me, you can hit it just from that link. You can hit me on all social media platforms, but you need to get in contact with me to start the process and getting your status corrected so you can get in order. Okay. And don't forget, I have the link on the video on my YouTube of Justice Anna speaking about this herself. Now, I wanted to also talk about today for those that might be having issues in court. Okay. You're dealing with some type of court issue. She speaks about that as well. Okay, she speaks about how to handle the de facto, what the de facto government is, what they're doing. Okay, she understands the magic show that's really going on. They are literally acting out, okay, different parts of a play. And you have to know what part they're playing so you can understand what part you need to play. So you can have an understanding on how to facilitate yourself in those type settings. So you can understand what to say and how to say it. Once again, in the school, we have a plethora of court cases and information that will help you prepare a proper defense to be able to stand on your square, okay, and understand who you are in that type setting. Remember, when your status is corrected, your status is higher than the Supreme Court. You are literally higher than the Supreme Court. But you have to understand how to actually facilitate, how to move. That's why we teach you how to live privately. You have to be taught that. Everything you were taught, you got to unlearn it, and we have to teach you again. Okay. All right. Let me get over here to some of these comments here. Hey, Free Game, how are you? In the house. Hey, Miss Rohan, how are you? All right, bill collectors. Yes, we're going to have the bill collectors. There's no such thing. It's all fake, 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 fake. And I know they have tricked us to live in the world to make us believe that it's real, but it's not. It's not. So you have to move in a position now to really begin to get your plan together. I say this all the time. You need a plan for your life. You need a plan and understanding, how do I maneuver my life to begin to, again, unravel all of those contracts that they had me intertwined in. I stated to you guys, that with my marriage, even though I'm divorced, I still rescinded that marriage contract through that marriage license, because just because you're divorced, it doesn't mean that the contract is broken with the de facto. Okay, it's not. That contract is still in place. All right. So you need to rescind your name on your signature on that marriage license. Okay, you need to rescind it. You need to rescind your signature on everything in the de facto. Now we know when you move into the private space, we don't call them signatures. We call them autographs, because that's what it is. All right. But you really need to go through and do a plan of your life. Do a plan of your life and understand how you're going to begin to unravel all of those areas that you, not knowingly, okay, fraudulently were pulled into. Okay. Because again, you want to start freeing yourself so you can be in position. So when all of this begins, the transfer of the wicked to the people of the American government, when that transfer begins to happen, you want to be in place. And I promise you, when others start finding out that those that are in place are now receiving back all of the monies that they have spent out in their entire lifetime, people are going to be coming in droves. You do not want to be a part of that. You want to be in position. You want to be a leader of this movement. Okay. All right, you guys. Oh, look at there. All right, I did good. We're at 12:11, so I kind of got all of that in a very short amount of time. But the big thing is, I want you to, again, try to get in position to help those with supplies. Okay. Try to move in position and go ahead and start getting your status corrected. You need to do this now. Now is the time. I want you to go on my YouTube and I want you to find the YouTube video I just posted, just given about a 7-minute blurb from Justice Anna speaking about everything that we're talking about. Okay. And let me see, was one more. Oh, I want to talk about this. And this is so important. And I want you to have a clear understanding of this. All right. Because this is something that keeps popping up too. And I'm trying to get everybody to have an understanding of who we are. Again, it always comes back to that question, understanding who you are. It always comes back to that. So we know that as melanated people, okay, that we have a history. Everybody has a history, okay? But a lot of times you'll hear with the melanated people that our history will go back to the Moorish, okay, or the Moors, okay, the Moorish civilization, okay. You'll hear a lot of times that people of color, melanated people, are Moors, all right. And so I want to kind of explain this so you'll have a understanding, because people are not understanding how that fits into being an American state national or American state citizen. And one day we'll talk about, well, I might talk about that today too, the differences between the two. But right now, let's just talk about, let's just say you're a Creek Indian, okay? Or you're Cherokee, okay? We know that with the Native American civilizations, they have over 200 civilizations. I think it's like 248 to be exact. The Native Americans by themselves, there are 248 civilizations. Okay. So if you consider yourself a Moor, all right, and you become status corrected, what you have done is you actually have a dual citizenship. All right. So how does that look? We all were born in America. We have to have an understanding of that. I don't care if you're Choctaw, I don't care if you're Cherokee, I don't care if you're a Moor, it doesn't matter, okay? If you were born in America, that's the place that you were born in. Now, we narrow it down a little further. If you were born in California, you're a Californian. If you were born in Pennsylvania like me, you're a Pennsylvanian. If you were born in Georgia, you're a Georgian. If you were born in Florida, you're a Floridian. Okay? And on and on and on. So what that means is that if you become status corrected, okay, you are an American state national. So when you are dealing in the Federation, you are representing being a Pennsylvanian or a Californian or a Texan, wherever nation, because y'all know they're little small nations, whatever nation, state that you were born on, that's who you represent. But it has nothing to do, and it doesn't denounce you also being a Moor, right? Or Cherokee or Cree. It doesn't denounce any of that. You are just one that has a dual citizenship, and you need to understand how that works. So when you're operating as a Moor in a Moor society or a Moorish organization or naturalization, when you're operating in that sense, then you can abide by the Moorish laws when you are dealing in the Moor community. When you are dealing as a Texan or a Georgian or an Alabamian, whatever, when you are dealing in that state through the American, as an American state national, then you are going by what that protocol is. Okay. So I wanted to make sure that I separated those two and you have a thorough understanding, because a lot of people are getting confused about that. All right. So let me see what some of these questions are. Do you know about bonds? Absolutely, but it just depends which ones you're talking about. There's several bonds. Right now, we all are under an indemnity bond. We all are under an indemnity bond. So literally, if something were to happen to you, if you go to court or what have you, you have an indemnity bond if your status corrected. All right. We have our own number and everything. Again, it's all about educating and knowing who you are and creating that plan. Why can't one fix the status when indicted? Okay, now let me just say this: you are indicted. It depends on what they have been indicted on. Okay, remember, as a American state national, American state citizen, we have two rules. You cannot bring harm to anyone. You cannot bring harm to anyone's property. All right. Those are two rules that we have to follow. So if you have been indicted, it depends on what you've been indicted on. Okay. And they do look at that very, very seriously. All right. As an American state national, and I'll go over what the differences between American state national, American state citizen in a minute. But do remember, we self-govern. And when we self-govern, we are responsible. We live responsibly. We don't bring harm to our neighbor. We don't bring harm to others, by the words that we say. We live a life that is pleasing to the Most High, okay, our Creator. Okay, we are responsible. We don't steal. We don't hurt. We don't harm. Okay, and so that's why if you have someone that has done this, okay, they would not be able to get their status corrected until they provide remedy for what they have done. Okay, and there are some common law courts. We do have some common law courts around, and I don't want to dip too far into that, because that's an area, as far as those who have, made some wrong choices, that I would let Justice Anna speak more to. But I do know the pretty much the groundwork, okay, the first level of this, and it kind of falls under that umbrella. Okay. All right. So now let me go ahead and dip into the difference between American state national and American state citizen. Okay. The majority of us will be American state nationals. You'll get your paperwork, your status corrected, okay, and you'll begin to live lives. But even under that umbrella, there are different areas. So you might work for the federal government. Well, we know that the only people that are supposed to pay taxes are those that work for the federal government. Everybody else, you don't have to pay taxes. It says it in their IRS forms. It says it that you are literally just giving them a gift. Okay? You're literally giving them a gift. The only people required to pay taxes are those that work for the federal government. That's why you'll look at all the documents for the IRS and it calls them employees. This is what they're talking about. They're employees, okay? They're employees, okay? And so when you become status corrected, if you work for the federal government, you will still be required to pay federal taxes, but outside of that, you will be considered with your status corrected, you will be considered American State National. Now, say for instance, and I had this happen just today, a young man in our group, he's a commercial truck driver. Okay, so he has to keep his license to drive, but understand when he is driving commercially, he is considered a United States citizen. All right, he's considered United States citizen. Now, outside of that, if his status is corrected and he's living his everyday life, he is now operating in the private capacity. All right, so for the majority of us, we will be flat out American State Nationals living our lives as a private American. All right. But again, there are different categories. Like some people have a green card. If you have a green card, there's a category where we just have to do your paperwork in a different way. All right. So American State Nationals, once again, you live and operate. Some of them, again, have different changes that have to be made, but you live and operate, in a private capacity. Now, if you're an American State citizen, only thing that means is that you actually work for an assembly. You actually are an officer in that assembly. So we know that we have 50 assemblies, okay? And each state has its own pillars of officers. So if you work in one of those pillars as an elected officer, you are an American State citizen, which means you have to be vetted. You cannot have any licenses, okay? None. Okay, you have to be totally purged of any license, anything under de facto. You have to be totally free of that because, again, you are working in a capacity to lead the state assemblies. All right. So I hope that helps you understand the difference between an ASN and an ASC. All right, let's see. You remember what I talked to you about my uncle? I'm looking for a bond for his situation, which was victimless crime. I'm trying to remember who Free Game is. I think I remember. Is this Chris? I want to make sure before I say this because I've talked to a couple people about different situations. I want to make sure. Is this Chris? All right. Let's see. Also, I'm trying to fix his status. Yes, it is Chris. Okay, Chris. Oh, yes, I do remember the situation. Okay. So as far as your uncle's concerned, his status has to be corrected first. Okay, and I think we talked about that. He has to get his status corrected first before he can actually move in any type of position. And he needs to hurry up. If I'm not mistaken, I think he had something like brewing coming up. So he needs to move in action fast. Okay. Does that help you, Chris? All right. All right. Does anybody else have any questions? If not, you all know I don't like these to be too long. I like to hit it, get right to it, and move on out. Don't forget, join us every Friday night, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where I give a free orientation on all of this. So if you're watching this and you don't have a clue what I'm talking about, what is status correction? What is all of this that's going on here that I am clueless to? Every Friday night, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I break it down. Okay. Only thing you need to do is register on the link below. Okay, here I am. I always do it the wrong way. Okay, let me start here. There you go. lnk.bio/I am Dr. Sherry. Register for our Friday night orientation where I break it down to you. Okay. I break it all the way down. Okay. All right, you guys. Let me see. Chris is saying on Monday is, oh Lord. See, Chris, Monday. Are you serious right now? Like to hit it and quit. He needed to get his status corrected months ago. Okay, this is what I'm saying. We got to get in order. right? We don't want to wait for stuff to happen. We want to be proactive. We want to already be in position before something happens. This is what I tell people all the time. The time that nothing is going on, that's the time to get your status corrected because you're relaxed. Okay? You're not pressured about anything. Soon as you get a speeding ticket or a parking ticket or something happens and you got to go to court or you owe an astronomical bill or you're overwhelmed in debt, that's when people are starting to come in. But I'm trying to tell you, the time to come in is when you are relaxed so you can have a thorough understanding of what's going on. Okay. All right, you guys, that is all I have for you today. If there are no other questions, you know how to do this. Going once, going twice, going 3 times. All right. So listen, you can check me tonight, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for our Friday night orientation. Until next time, bye.